Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for September 8th, 2021. We're here on CathyDSlaght.com's website. To access the Zoom call, we're going to scroll down to the website and look for the Zoom banner that is right here. This is a demonstration of the SRC4u software. Cathy has her client list loaded, and if you'd like to be part of the client group, you would click here, read the information. There is a monthly fee. We'll come on down here to the banner where it says click here. We are going to click here. This is going to take us over to the Zoom platform where I am going to allow. And we're going to join with audio and we will be live. One moment, please.
Before we go into the session, I do want to show you we've made a little progress. We only have a 22% benefit today of this tooth scan thing, but this is something we're going to have to keep up with. But I want to show you some of the thoughts. And I finally, last night, did catch up. I took all of the codes that we've been sharing and added them to Grab-A-Boy. And right after this call, that full Grab-A-Boy list will go out. But I forget sometimes. We go off into the ethers, and I forget to tell you. We are running integrity in the mastery every 4 days for 55 days. That's what we resonated with. Integrity is, we're not talking about ethics here. We're talking about the integrity of what I'm beginning to call our spacesuit, our body. We are taking the issue solver. Remember yesterday we wanted that for 49 hours. And then also something to be aware of. One of the things in our dental realm that they're doing when we have these teeth infections is giving us antibiotics, which has not necessarily benefited us. So we can go in here and we will do a saved session. We have an outstanding saved session, release and reverse the stress of all side effects expressed by antibiotic use from prenatal to current space-time. That doesn't sound too bad. Then, interestingly enough, after this, once we got past this tooth thing, I wanted to go into essential oils. And I don't know if Susan Bird is on, but I know she is one of the ones that really knows those oils. But interestingly enough, I have been kind of led first to go into flower essences. I don't know why, so that's what we're going to do. But what from yesterday, you can see some of this information. It's really all about cellular electricity, and that seems to be why the dental is so significant, because we've got to hold our voltage, which we know. There are certain gates, or so-called channels involved. This is way over my head, that are actually controlled by many issues, including pathogens, and most of the pathogens are in our mouths. One of the big deals is the calcium levels. So again, we found a code, but what it means from what I'm understanding, and please chime in here, any of you that have studied this more, but there is a flow to electrons. There is a flow to our electrons, and that is so important. And the real culprit is oxidative stress, which depletes the electrons. And so that's what the dental, the teeth, all the lowered voltage in reference to our dental health is throwing off. And so I kind of got a wild hair, and I thought it might not hurt. Now, this is all subtle, but it might not hurt. In fact, I ended up putting it in the manual for the first step, even before anything else, to see our level of oxidative stress at this moment in time, remembering that it is etheric, but you can get a little information, and you might try a few different things then and go back and scan it and say, well, if I drank a little more water, did this level go down? If I used any of my gadgets, did the level go down? It is amazing to me how many, when I have been testing this just in the last 24 hours, are at the maximum oxidative stress. So that actually, when you consider how this ties in to depleting the electrons up here, you see how significant this is. I know they like to sell a few health products related to oxidative stress, but I think there's much more we need to do. Not that, perhaps that can be added in, but there's some habits of daily living. Here are a few of the things that I found. Obviously, we're ingesting toxins in our food and in our water. Prescription drugs, chemotherapy, major for creating oxidative stress, but also certain vitamins if we overdo it. And you will see that in your scans once in a while, too much A, D, E, or A. But with minerals, what I'm reading, again, do your own, research. But what I'm reading is, let me pull this down past that little picture. Is do not ever take calcium. That's one of the biggest, perhaps along the lines of aspirin, bits of misinformation we've gotten. Unless a person has anemia, they should not be taking iron, and they've actually found people with cancer have too much iron. We did have a code here, clear excess iron. Copper is another one, supposedly we don't want to supplement. So again, we've got a couple of codes, but it's really coming from our mouth, and the greatest source would be pathogens. Here's something you can also scan. I don't know if we'll do it today, but you can get an idea where this is coming from. You can see it also can come from tonsils, sinus, and lymph nodes in the head and neck. And then just a few other things. Obviously, compromised digestion is going to, some of us, our food is rotting in our gut. This was huge for me. I put this code in, and it was 100% benefit. So I think from the real estate days, I got to really eat and fast, and I need to look at that and be conscious of it. Too many liquids, which would include not just healthy liquids, but also alcohol and milk. Obviously, insufficient enzymes, poor food combinations, not eating, and then just having one giant meal. So again, and then finally, just so we can see this, and this will go out, Susan had sent some information. I was saving this for when we go into the oils, but this will give you some information on some essential oils that may have a positive impact in reference to this so-called pandemic. But then also myrrh is said to protect from gum disease. That might be really timely to take a look at that and do a little bit more learning about it. So if we go in now.
There's your, which file do I want to save?
Oh, where does it say that? You know how
bottom left.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't fool with it now because you know how I can mess myself up. And then after, thank you though, Kevin. Thank you. Let's go down through here. I think what I'm going to do with this manual, which I've worked on and on and on and on and keep changing, this may end up being a manual on how to set up our SRC business. I'm not sure, or maybe any business. But it dawned on me, what would it hurt before we even start? Now, of course, this is the group. I meant to put oxidative stress at the end of each of these. Let me just go back to the... There we go, and I'll correct that other later. Let's just see where we as a group are. So we've got looking good. All right. So again. I can get that to come down now. Well, let's just go ahead and put that in there and clear it. All right. So moving on. with the manual, and I will add oxidative stress after each of those. This information here, the more I learn, the more I realize it probably is a priority to load it in each time. And you can go further with that if you want to. You want to make sure all of our levels of energy are aligned. And they are. Clear any of this information, and you may have some things you choose to add on your own. Share with us if you have something good. So again, non-beneficial programs. That certainly is worth being aware of. Let's look and see. So we want the emotions panel, soul imaging, and the light panel. Let's go into the emotions. So right now, stress related to circulation, liver, psychic systems, and a little weakness, which I hope doesn't show up again today like it did yesterday. And then our intention statement. And I hope that you are experimenting with this for yourself. It's not going to be something that pops overnight, but if you're consistent with this, you might be very surprised. Again, we're looking good. Let's see if we're wanting any kind of command. There's 318, command for global peace and prosperity. But there's a 0 for command to transform negative interconnections. And anytime you get a 0, that's, in my opinion, head on. So let's
Agreed.
Yeah, so let's look at this. I get the exact verbiage. Transform negative interconnections. And are you all discovering that you have these cocktails in your...
I've gone through and I don't have them. I have some.
Okay, so I'll add this one again today. Okay, transform negative interconnections. So there we've got that. And what I'm seeing just in this little bit of time we've been doing this is that people are not as likely to need some of these extra setup cocktails. Let's just test it again. And you know, the thing of it is, I'm putting priority for chi. The magic is not in the machine. The magic is in the human. And that's all we're doing is clearing whatever's blocking that. And we do that through our chi being high. So priority for chi, session, startup, cocktail. And then Kevin and I are hopefully going to connect right after the call, and we'll make sure all those. Look at that. We still want that session startup. So every time I say that, I immediately get a little lesson. Well, let's look up here. Go down here. Let's just go in here and see what we're talking about. and why that's a priority, such a priority.
If users will go to their SRC4u data directory, in the top right type in command, it will find all the commands. They're scattered throughout the database.
There you go.
Do you mind putting that in the chat, Kevin, so we could write that down?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's what we're looking at, and I'm not sure now. I've somehow managed, I can't see where my numbers leave off, but let's just look a few of these. So basically, we're wanting to amp up life force, balance our energy. But this is interesting. Bioenergetic signatures are now invisible to unauthorized tracking devices. Now, we know our cell phones track us. Let's just see where we are as a group with this kind of stress. That's okay. Well, let's just amp that up. We're talking subtle stuff here. Let's look and see if we would like the Armor of God cocktail. Let's see how you can go wrong with that. Priority for Chi, Armor of God cocktail. We don't really necessarily need the cocktail, but we need the energy and awareness accuracy. Natural killer cells. Let's go ahead and see where we are with that. Amp that up. This next one, there's a woman by the name of Nina who works with the SRC, and her work is exclusively this kind of thing right here. And this, she is the one that gave me this statement, and then I did find a code for it. This is a very powerful statement, and we're asking for today complete extermination from existence, all, and then a whole long list of things. If you feel, as we learn more about some of the things going on in the world, this may be something you choose to chant a few times every day. It is in our grab a voice list, which will go out. Let's see where we are. We are asking for some extra benefit with that today, and let's just go ahead and do it. Emotional control, integrate right and left brain. Now here's our microbiome, which we're already seeing, since it could be our boss, since there's a lot more of that than our human cells. Let's see where we are with that. little stress there. Put in the shin. We might end up having to do a little more learning in this area. Violet flame, always exciting to see that one. That's such a powerful concept. Okay, looking good. Let's just, since there's a little break here, let's just go ahead and put this in. The key concept, I think, is our awareness of this, that this information is there for us. Come on. Well, you come back and priority for Qi session startup emotions. May go in and try to combine these later. We don't need that one today. Until that bell. No. Qi first. Well, we'll take the nerves cocktail. Wish I could get this thing down. Any suggestions, Kevin? The okay. Like you might want to check on a regular basis in reference to the oral health. Let's look at physical condition to manifest. Okay, still a little bit of stress there. Priority for Qi general option scan. Nope. Look at the personal options. You want the personal options.
And if everyone will check to make sure you're getting emails as expected from Cathy, great. But if you're not receiving them, let her know what your email is. There may be an error in gmail.com as opposed to yahoo.com as opposed to AOL.com. So just let her know what it is.
Yeah, because these go out every day after a Zoom, almost every day. Every now and then get messed up. Okay, so we are wanting in the personal options detoxification, there's a 0 there in case you can't see it. So that is our focus. And that makes a lot of sense. This ordinarily would be the last step. You know what I didn't do and I meant to do was hit the Wonder Click first, so I have to do that at the end. We do want the she motion today. That's all we want, so I'll run that and save our comments. And well, old habits die hard, so I forgot to hit the Wonder Click first. Let's just go ahead and see where we are. And we just want that good old Wonder Click. I want to check one other thing. Let's see if it's a priority for us today to receive that save session on antibiotics. Not really a priority for the group, but check that one out for yourself and see what you think. Let's do the Wonder Click. Okay, so again, remember weakness. We talked about weakness yesterday. We still are focused on raising qi. The pineal gland is coming in here. And that's, I think you remember that in particular, the Japanese did a lot of work with the putting not Christ consciousness, but divine love in the pineal. I don't know exactly how they're focused. It was a form of Reiki. Let's go ahead and just do the light therapy.
Cathy, can you send that antibiotic save session? I don't have it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you should have it in your saved sessions.
But yeah, we'll figure out how to do it. Although it's a pretty big, let me show it to y'all anyway, and then we may have to have Kevin download it for you. Look here, we're only taking 15 seconds in reference to this light therapy for the pineal. Let's go ahead and start the soul imaging too. A lot of times the soul imaging can go all day if you choose to, just keep clicking. It doesn't hurt, but triple heater, blockages. I think you all can see this. Enzyme balance. And again, make sure I had not forgotten to do it the new way. Okay, so we're looking at Western pathogens, and even though, let's just see what we've got here. Let's go ahead, since we're only asking for such a little amount of time for the light therapy. Let's go ahead and do immunity, because that came up also in our just 10 minutes. We're not asking for much. Let's see where we are with the and again, that sinus, which has such a correlation to the oxidative stress and all the other things talked about yesterday. State. little inflammation. System, and there's the central nervous system. Doesn't hurt to go in here. And just balance the nervous system. For 30 minutes. Thyroid tied into the parathyroid. Lung meridian. And that kidney bladder. Defensive action shouting means you don't feel anyone's hearing you. That's your omnipotence. Oh, well, that's interesting. Let's put in both of those in the emotions. Well, that in reference probably to fear. Kidney degeneration. Look at that. Demonic attack. Subconscious. Let's see. Okay, tied into our energy flow, muscles, bladder. Insatiable, which then over here, armored. Okay, we've done that today. Stress factor deficiency, and there is an environmental stress involved in it. Words to ponder over here. A failure is a man who has blundered but is not able to cash in on the experience. You know, as you know, the Chinese, the word for crisis is opportunity. So I guess you're supposed to look at it that way. Half of a large intestine equals 1 semicolon. Maybe we better do a little more work on the large intestine. The mind, absurd, mind, isolated. It's just psychic attack, parasitic, oppression. Let's go ahead and put large intestine in also. And that's tied into some, we need to look at that, don't we? Look at that stress related to the large intestine, which we know that's a huge part of our brain, actually, or the way we think our brain operates. Overuse or misuse of fiery creative forces, burned out feelings, which goes into rage. We can do without that. Let's go in. And there's the curse that comes up, and then perhaps a problem with moving forward. Gushing, ferocity. There's our solar plexus. Or lethargic. This is interesting too. You know, one defense mechanism can be to just tune out. That ties into blood pressure, synchronization, unwellness, cold. The resistance factor over here is spiritual. And it ties in, look at that, digestion. Let's go ahead and I can get this thing down. No, this is not working. No. Well, I don't know what I can do here. I may have to show you this save session tomorrow. But that's it, I guess, for today. Anything I'm forgetting?
Don't think so.
If you are, we are too.
Yeah.
The antibiotic.
Yes, that's what I had.
At
Go
the save session, but can it be a cocktail also? Is it more powerful?
Yes,
one way or the other?
you can. What you could do is take the information out of the theme box. Select all, copy all, and then erase it out of the theme box and pop it over into the cocktail.
That's a good
And
idea.
that'd be perfectly fine. It's a very simple command structure,
Mm-hmm.
so it's simple but useful.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
thank you.
All right, well, we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thank
I
you.
know.
Yes, thank you,
Thank
Cathy.
you.
Fabulous.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Take
take
care.
care.
Hey, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call, which is just a demonstration of the software, and it is for entertainment purposes only. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.